Today we'll be learning how to create the icy base effect on Ragnar Blackmane.
That the entirety of the cosmos is accessible to each and every individual's mind, connecting to the great mind, the great spirit.
Welcome back to the channel, collectors. So today I'll be creating the icy base effect on Ragnar Blackmane. I'm going to be using something that's quite rarely used in miniature painting, which is crushed glass. Remember, while using crushed glass, it's always very good to be wearing eye protection and a face mask. If you can, make sure you wash your hands after the session because you don't want any crushed glass getting on any of your other body parts, and that's not funny at all. So this is the last video tutorial for Ragnar Blackmane. You can check out the rest of the videos in the playlist in the description below. Alright, so if you're ready, let us begin. Alright, so the base has just been done with Sterland mud after the model has been stuck onto the wooden plinth so that there are no gaps. Right now what I'm using is that I'm using Vallejo pigments, and this pigment is called European Earth. I'm sort of like dry brushing the European Earth all over the base to create a little bit of dusting effect on this. Okay, so the following steps we're going to be using AK Interactive Sparkle Eyes. So what that basically is, right, is crushed glass. And what you can see me do here is I'm just dipping on a little bit of thinner medium to fix in the powder, the pigment. Okay, so with crushed glass you should always be wearing a respirator, and you should always wash your hands after. So what we have here is a mix of PVA glue, crushed glass and water. So this mix is a little bit too watery for my liking. However, I'm just placing in some of the areas where I want powdery snow to be in. Okay, so there are two ways to do this. This first way is to add wetter mix and then start to pour on crushed glass with a small little spoon. Sprinkle it on like sugar. Basically we are creating a little sugar pastries, and we're going to pour in the excess back into the cup. However, if you like, you can add more crushed glass into a thicker PVA glue, and this also creates a very similar texture. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just adding in these small little areas of wet glue, and I'm just going to be powdering it with the crushed glass. Why I find this method a lot better than, say for example, using the GW white terrain paste is that I find that this creates the powdery snow effect a lot better. This is the same powdery snow effect I've used on Tyra the Barbarian Girl. If you want to have a look at Tyra the Barbarian Girl, the links are in the description below for the Facebook. Alright, so I'm just dusting off the excess into the container. Just make sure that you always remember to wash your hands after. So now with a smaller brush, I'm also adding in a little bit of this crushed glass on the top of his pelt. So what this creates is it creates an environment where it's sort of like in a blizzard, and there's some powdered snow that's stuck onto his onto the furry surfaces. Okay, remember you can always add this in several layers. Once you add the powdered snow on, add a little bit more glue, then add more powdered snow on. This is how I build up layers and build up volume using crushed glass. I cannot re-emphasize this enough because right after this, you should be washing your hands. Wash your hands, don't touch your face, don't touch any other body part. It's not fun to have crushed glass on your other body parts and to have like cuts coming out where you don't notice them at all. Alright? So if you're kind of young and you're using this, always have adult supervising you, and yeah, you should be super duper careful while using crushed glass. It's not a joke, it's not funny at all. Okay. So now with a drier mix, I'm just creating more powdered snow effect on different surfaces, which I find more realistic. And I will show you the final result in just a little bit. Alright, so adding a little bit more crushed glass on the bottom of his cape because he's probably dragging it in the snow, and pouring on some more powdered snow. Okay, if there's one thing that I want you to remember from this tutorial, is that right after you use crushed glass, what do? Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Very important. Very, very important. Not funny at all. Okay, so now we have come towards the end. This is the last video of Ragnar Blackmane. So what do you think about this ice tutorial? Let me know in the comments below. Just remember that this is part of a greater series of videos where I go component by component, and I've covered Space Wolf armor, I covered NMM Gold, I covered the Wolf Pelt, I covered the face in the exclusive Patreon video, and many, many more. So remember to check out the playlist below, and yes, I hope you found this video tutorial useful. If you found it useful, I hope you become a Patreon and support the channel even further. Alright, patrons get exclusive access to many of my videos, and this time the exclusive video is how I paint Ragnar Blackmane's face, which is really, really important. Alright? However, if you can't become a patron, that's okay too. I'd like to thank you for being here and watching all the way to the end. So if you could, like, subscribe and all the other stuff, because it really helps the channel grow, and I hope to see you in the next video. See you!